All right. So Jesse, so you were just telling me your kids are 6 and 7.
I have a 7, 6, and a 3-year-old.
7, 6, and 3, and you homeschool them. And what did you said that they have not? What did your wife say? You tell me.
Well, our life's crazy. So yeah, we have biological son, 2 foster daughters that we adopted, and so they are all homeschooling now. So like we are traveling every single week all over the country, and yeah, it's not a typical homeschooling setup where it's like you do 3-4 hours. It's like no, we're on the road today, we're traveling today. The game starts at 7. We're gonna get home at 1 today. You're gonna be with the players here early on the field. Then we're gonna try to go to a zoo. We'll mix in a zoo briefly this morning, and we'll see what we can do. And it's just adjusting with our life, and it's crazy, but it works for us.
I mean, what a wild, like, it'll be so interesting to see in 10, 20 years how they look back on like, man, I had such an unconventional childhood, but it was wild, right? Like they call that world schooling in a way, right? Where you're just like learning through osmosis and observation. And I mean, dude, the one thing they're learning is how to watch their dad pursue his dreams at the highest level possible, which is pretty cool.
Well, we're very fortunate, but yes, I think when my son's just playing catch at Fenway Park, he has no idea it's playing catch at what Fenway Park means and what that looks like. But I take in those moments. We're so fortunate. We capture a lot of these moments because I think when I was younger, there's a few pictures. There's no videos really when I was much younger, and so to capture these, to see what they were part of, and interacting with our players and former MVPs and all stars and celebrities and the people they get to interact with. And it's just key to teach them to be humble, but also to appreciate what they're a part of. And so it's been a fun ride. We're learning more every day.
Yeah, no, I mean it is wild. So let's start with where you're at now, and then I want to kind of work backwards, right?
Sure.
So you're famous for being the founder of Banana Ball. You are selling out stadiums across the country. In fact, you just celebrated, right, your biggest audience ever. Am I right? At the Panthers Stadium.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. We just sold out 2 NFL stadiums back to back, 148,000 fans, 2 games. So it's
It doesn't
crazy.
even make sense. I'm like, I was trying to explain to my kids. I literally was telling them about our interview today, and I go 148,000. I'm like, you guys, that's okay. The city I grew up in had 13,000 people, y'all. That'd be like 10 of my or more than 10 of my town that I grew up in. So you've got millions of fans. Right after I met, or right before we met, your interview had just gone live on 60 Minutes. You're on ESPN as well, like right around that same time. What is life like right now? Like, take a minute, put your hands on your heart before you answer this. Like, you pause and just, what is life like right now to be being you in this moment in time?
Well, for me, I'm still that only child kid that was dreaming big and having fun, and it's hard for me to think about where it is now because it's all been just a journey. It's 9 years ago, my wife and I were sleeping on an airbed. We only sold a handful of tickets when we first came to Savannah. It was a brutal struggle, but we had a bigger belief that we can make baseball fun and create something truly special. And just each day it's been iteration. How do you get better? And obsession with learning from Walt Disney and P.T. Barnum and Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs and the greatest innovators, and we just kept learning. And so now we're having opportunities we've never had before, and yes, to sell out major league stadiums, to sell out NFL stadiums, to create a new sport and play it all over the world, and it's unbelievable. But I'm still that person who's obsessed with just creating a great fan experience, and more than anything, just creating something that I would love. I think the greatest creators create things that they love, that get them excited. And I wanted to look at the sport as something that could be fun to bring people together. And so every day it's trying to get a little bit better. So yes, our life is, we're traveling constantly. We travel with over 200 plus people. We have multiple tours. Even our second team, the Party Animals, they have more followers than every Major League Baseball team on TikTok. I mean, they've sold out their entire tour. We're starting the league next year. There's a lot of opportunities with TV and all these other things that are happening. But, for me, it's not about that. It's about, one fan at a time. Every game is someone's first game. And every day we have an opportunity to create a special moment for a fan. And that's what fires me up. And that's what excites me. That's when I go to the ballpark. I don't care if it's 40, 50, 140,000 fans. It's those moments. And that's what we're trying to create.
I love that. For those that aren't familiar, what is Banana Ball and when and how did you come up with it?
Yeah, simple. I played baseball my whole life. Very fortunate. Got a full college scholarship. Went down south, played Division I, and that was my dream. It was going to play Major League Baseball. I grew up south of Boston, and so I had the big dream to play for the Red Sox. I envisioned it over and over again. with the 37th round pick, the Boston Red Sox. I was never going to be an early round pick. I was going to be later. All right.
Okay.
But I pictured myself getting drafted. And it was high school. I had scouts coming to my games, major league scouts. When I was in college, there were scouts. I was getting letters. I remember getting Christmas cards from the New York Mets. Like, it was like, this dream is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I tore my shoulder. And just like that, 3 tears, and it was done. And I had no idea what I was going to do. Nowhere near what you went through, but it was a moment where it was like, this was my life. What do I do now?
Yeah.
This was all I knew. I would play baseball. Yeah. And so I thought I was going to get into coaching. And I had the biggest aha, because I did go into coaching for a short period of time. I was coaching in the Cape Cod League and sitting in the dugout. And this is Cape Cod League, some of the best college players in the country. Everyone goes and plays Major League Baseball. Like, they are the best and the best. Okay. So I'm sitting with the best players in the country, the best seat in the house, and I'm bored out of my mind.
Wow.
Playing the game is one thing. When you're playing, you're on the mound. I could dictate what was going to go on. I could control the game. I could know what I was going to pitch, know what to do. But I was sitting there watching. I was bored. And I just had that aha, right? Like that. I was like, if I'm bored and I know the game, I understand it, and I got the best seat in the house with the best players right now, and I'm bored, there's got to be a lot of other people that are bored with the game of baseball as well.
Wow.
Now, when this was happening, this was in the heyday. Major League Baseball had the most fans they ever had. They had 80 million fans. They were dominating, but I still just felt it. And so I said, well, I got an opportunity to be a GM of a team at 23 years old in college summer baseball. And so how do you get an opportunity, that opportunity? Well, it's the worst team in the entire country. Like, no one wanted the job, hell. So I got it, $268 in the bank account, 200 fans coming to the games. Team had lost over $100,000. And I just said, we got to fix it. So I was like, I got to learn from outside the baseball business, because this is a low-level baseball. It was college summer baseball that I was running. And so I started reading every book by Walt Disney, P.T. Barnum, Circus Soleil, WWE, Grateful Dead, sort of learning at the greatest entertainers.
Okay.
And I said, well, we can't be a baseball team. We have to be about entertainment. And so what people don't realize is that we spent 10 years with this small team in Gastonia. I think we got one piece of news coverage, but I learned there and tried things like the grandma beauty pageants and the flatulence fun nights and the salute to underwear nights and dig to China nights. I mean, we tried it all. And there's all hundreds of stories and hundreds of failures that happened there. But I learned how to get people excited about coming to a baseball game. And so we started selling out some games back in Gastonia, over 2,000 fans. And then for a small stadium, that was a big deal. Yeah. And I just always wondered, what if I could start from scratch, a brand new team, and do it right? And luckily I met my amazing future wife, Emily. She became our director of fun in Gastonia. And, she wore a hot dog costume every day. I mean, when you can find a woman that is confident and doesn't care what she looks like, is just having fun, that's the right girl for me. And,
that's awesome.
And I fell in love pretty quickly. And I proposed to her at one of our last games at Gastonia, sold out crowd. Stopped the game, had a ring inside a baseball, and actually had a fireworks show go off in the middle of the game, which completely delayed the game. But I was like, this is our moment. We're making this special. And she surprised me with a trip to come to Savannah, Georgia, just out of nowhere. Never been to Savannah. And I was like, oh, Em, there's a minor league team there, the Mets affiliate. We got to go check it out. She's like, I knew you would say that. So I got tickets.
Nice.
I realized she probably didn't have to get tickets because there was only 200 people, like 150 people in the stadium. It's like a tumbleweed going through it. Wow. And it was dead air. And it was a beautiful, majestic 1926 ballpark. Babe Ruth played there, Hank Aaron, Lou Gehrig. You could feel all the history. And I said, if this team ever leaves, we got to come here. And lo and behold, they asked for a $38 million stadium from the city. So they said, we're not building you a $38 million stadium. So they left and they took everything out of the stadium. We convinced the city for us to come in. We showed up. The phone lines were cut. They cut the internet lines. They took everything out of the ballpark. It was abandoned. And it was myself, my wife, our 24-year-old team president, 3 22-year-olds straight out of college. And here we go. Here's the new dream, the new team. And that's when we began to fail. And we sold 2 tickets in our first 3 months. And we got the call on January 15th, 2016, that we were overdrafted our account. We were out of money. And Emily turned to me and said, we have to sell our house. And so we sold our house, emptied out our savings account, and we had to figure out how to make it work. And at that same time, there was a book that I read. And the book was The Miracle Morning. And
I like where this is going. Keep going.
Yes. And that stood out. I started writing, and right when we started in that 2015, which I showed you, I started writing every morning and documenting it. What was crazy, that whole first year when we ran out of money, we were sleeping on an airbed. We were grocery shopping with just $30 a week. I have every day documented on what we went through. And it was a crazy journey. We had to figure out how to do something different, because when we came in, expected to fail like everyone else. We were the same baseball team. We were doing the normal things, the normal marketing, the normal sales. We were scared to step out. I wasn't wearing the yellow tuxedo. We
Yeah.
were just like everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's how you fail. You do the same things everyone else. So that's how it started back, in 2016.
Wild. So it's 9 years since then.
Yeah.
When did you start to gain traction? Like when did you get a defining moment, an aha, or met someone that changed things? Like what was that like? When did that happen?
February 25th, 2016.
Okay.
So again, I remember dates because it was
Totally.
January 15th when we ran out of money.
Okay.
And then February 25th was when we named the team the Bananas. And so we did we announced the team. And
why the Bananas, by the way? I got to know. Where did that come from?
Well, we had 1,000+ suggestions from the community, and nobody wanted Bananas. They wanted Spirits, Ports, Anchors, Braves. I'm like, there's already a team in our state called the Braves.
Yeah.
We're not going to be the Braves. Hundreds of suggestions. But there was one that, from a 62-year-old nurse, Lynn Moses, Bananas. And we looked at it and we said, go Bananas. Said we could have a senior citizen dance team called the Banana Nanas.
Nice.
We could have a banana baby that we lift up every night. We could have a banana band. We could have a male cheerleading team called the Mananas. We could have a mascot named Split. We could do music videos to Can't Stop the Peeling. We could throw bananas from the top deck. People could catch them in their pants. It could be banana in the pants. And we just started thinking of all these ideas.
Wow.
We said, it's crazy. And we need crazy. We need attention because attention beats marketing 1,000% of the time.
Yeah.
So we decided to go with it. And we went with it. And that first shipment of t-shirts that came in, there were too many N's in Bananas. We literally misspelled our own name. We misspelled our own name. All right. Colossal failure.
Oh my God.
The hats didn't get there in time. And we announced that name. We actually invited some of our closest friends, family members to be at that meeting just so they could cheer. We brought in ringers because we knew we were going to get ripped apart. And boy, did we ever.
Wow.
The owner should be thrown out of town. You're an embarrassment to the city. You'll never sell a ticket. Leave our town now. Everywhere. Just ripped apart. But we got attention. They finally knew we were here. Okay. And on ESPN Sports Center said logo of the year, Savannah Bananas. So national, we were loved. Locally, get us out of this town. A week later, I was walking through town. It was a St. Patrick's Day parade, or a couple of weeks later. It was myself and our team. We're wearing our green banana shirts, right? We're getting booed walking down the street. Literally
no way.
Booed. Everyone, I'm like, whoa. Just getting booed and like walking down the street is a whole new feeling to your psyche. And so that was an adjustment. But we got attention. And so what we did was we actually announced at that time when we announced the name, we announced a sellout. And they were like, they've never sold at the stadium. So how did you do that? We got the hospital to buy all the tickets. We didn't tell anyone it was just the hospital buying all the tickets. We're like, hospital, we need your help here. Please support us. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. It's all we've already, and people are like, wait, they sold out a game? The other teams never sold out a game in all the minor league history. So now we created some demand, a little bit of excitement.
Wow.
Well, opening night, we sold out. And we were wearing green uniforms because we weren't quite right. So literally from the Bananas, we were playing with it all. And what we did, Hal, is we made every single ticket all-inclusive. Every ticket includes all your burgers, hot dogs, chicken sandwiches, soda,
so that
water.
Was that early on?
Oh, yeah. First game.
Oh, first game. Wow.
At $15 total for all your food, your ticket, no ticket fees, no convenient fees, no service. We knew because the name of our company is Fans First Entertainment. We had to make it Fans First. So we sold out that opening night. And we played terrible. We made 6 errors, but they watched the Banana Nanas dance on the field in the rain, which was interesting because they were wearing white jerseys. That was a whole nother thing. But we watched that happen. They watched as the players went into the crowd and delivered roses to little girls. They watched as we lifted up the banana baby. They watched as we went all in on the experience. We had the first banana instead of the first pitch. A kid threw a banana. We went all in on it, and they started telling everybody. So you asked, when did it become a success? That first year, we started selling out every game.
Wow.
Which was crazy. So we failed the first 6-9 months. I'm literally into 7-figure debt, sleeping on an airbed, gross show me $30. But then as soon as they felt the experience, and that's the difference, the experience is everything. Yeah. We invest in the experience. We spend $0 on marketing, but we spend everything on the experience. That's the difference.
Yeah. I think about Tesla. Tesla spends $0 on marketing, right? But it's all word of mouth because the experience of driving a Tesla is phenomenal. I'm an owner, but
tremendous. Yeah.
Amazing. So so this is 2016, and now who were you playing against? Other minor league teams?
At that point, we were a regular traditional. There was no banana ball.
Okay.
We were a regular traditional baseball team, And so we
Okay.
were playing in the Coastal Plain League, a college summer league. So we were basically, when guys play at college, wherever they play, at the summer, they play to get in front of scouts and to play more during the summer. So we were that league. So it was a low level. This isn't minor league. These guys can't be paid. It was college summer baseball. So we had to figure out how to entertain at a 1926 ballpark, a no video board, how to make it a great experience.
Wow.
And that was really, again, after the 10 years in Gastonia, another long time learning here in Savannah before we went and created Banana Ball.
Now, what were you doing when you thought of this? What were you doing before Banana Ball?
So, well, it was 10 years of playing regular baseball in Gastonia. In
Oh,
the
I see. Okay, got it.
Yep, 10 years of
Yeah.
that. And then we joined Savannah, played in the same Coastal Plain League, had, 4, 5, 6 years of that. And then what happened was we saw fans were leaving games early.
Yeah.
Even with the nonstop entertainment. I mean, we had a banana band, we had the Banana Bananas, we had dancing players, we had a breakdancing coach. I mean, we were selling out games, but fans were still leaving early.
Interesting.
And I thought about it, I was like, no one in the world goes to a movie and it's like, how was the movie? Oh, it was great. I left in the middle.
Yeah.
You don't go to a great concert. You're like, Coldplay, unbelievable. Yeah, I left 3/4 the way through.
Sure.
Like, you don't do it. But baseball games, you do it all the time.
Yeah.
That's a fundamental problem with the game. So I realized there was a fundamental problem with the game that we had to change the rules to make the game more exciting. So what I started looking at, we actually videotaped. We took pictures every 30 minutes in video of our grandstands for an entire season to watch when people got up, when they left. And we realized at 9 o'clock, that was the first influx of people, 2 hours in. Then at 9:30, good luck. It's all over. And so at that point, I was like, all right, let's create a 2-hour game. No blowouts. So if you win the inning, you get a point. So if a team scores 6 runs, they can only get 1 point in an inning. So there's never blowout. Oh, yes.
Interesting.
So every inning's exciting. No mound visits, boring. No walks, because in an athletic sporting event, there shouldn't be a play called a walk. All right, so we eliminated walks. They're boring. No stepping out of the box, waste of time. No bunting. Bunting sucks. At least that's what we say, and it creates attention. If you bunt, you get thrown out of the game.
Got it.
If a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out.
Yeah.
Involve the fans. It's fans first. And so we developed a game that we believed, what would be the perfect game? Under 2 hours, nonstop excitement. And let's just test it. And we tested in 2018 behind closed doors. And we played the first game 9 innings in 99 minutes. And the players said it was the most fun they've ever had playing a game.
Wow.
Bingo. In front of no fans.
Yeah. Okay.
And then COVID hits. COVID's just chaos. And so we were allowed to have a few fans. And I was like, let's just test it for a few fans on COVID. I mean, no one's really watching. The world's shutting down. Let's just do it.
Sure.
And we tested it. And there were a lot of things that didn't go right. We were learning the rules. But our fans were like, whoa, what was that? And they were intrigued. It was creating talking points. They were like, this is different. They were staying till the end. 98% stayed till the end.
Yeah.
So then we said, all right, let's just do one more test again. So we did a 1-city world tour. Start small, dream big.
Yeah.
That's our whole mindset with everything. 1 city, world tour.
Yeah.
We still announce it a world tour. Hell, we haven't played anywhere other than the United States. We're going to. You better believe we'll be international. But we believe we're going to. So it's called the world tour because that's where we're going to go.
Yeah.
And so so then we did 1 city world tour.
Where did you play? Where was the world tour spot?
The first spot we ever did was Mobile, Alabama.
Okay.
Of all places, because the mayor read my book, my first book, and he was like, I'm a fan. I'll give you a shot. He goes, what will it take? I go, what do you mean, what will it take? He goes, well, can we help you like financially? I go, what do you have in mind?
Yeah.
I had no idea that even worked. And so that they set a great precedent. They started contributing because we started bringing fans in from all over. Did it. A lot of failures. Sound didn't work. Challenges. But we sold out both nights. 7,000 fans. Went to 7 cities the next year. Got a little better. Major League spring training homes. Then went to 33 cities all over the country. 500,000 fans. Then went to 1 million fans last year. Started selling out major league stadiums. 1 major league stadium at a time. And then this year, 17 major league stadiums, double nights. 3 NFL stadiums, college football stadium, 2.2 million fans. And we brought on more teams, and now we start the league. So it's just iteration. And we failed every step of the way. People don't realize we have failed. I mean, literally every step of the way. Our first ticket launch failed. Our first major league stadium, the tickets didn't work. Our first merchandise launch failed. Our first game on ESPN, the transmission went out. On ESPN, I mean, literally the transmission went out.
Oh my gosh.
We failed every step of the way, but we're not afraid to fail. And we're not afraid to try and test and get better. And that's why we are where we are.
Well, you're the epitome of one of my favorite books that I read probably, I don't even know, 10, 15, 20 years ago, Failing Forward by John Maxwell.
Yeah.
Right.
Love John.
Yeah. And you are the epitome of like failing forward. Like, I'm going to try this crazy stuff and, this worked. This didn't. Neither did this. But this one did. We'll do that again,
The key in life is how many at-bats can you get?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think so many people, they might only doing the same thing over and over again, and they're taking the same at bat over and over again. It's how many at bats can you get?
Yeah.
Pete Rose had more hits than anyone that ever played Major League Baseball, over 4,000 hits.
Yeah.
He also had 14,000 at bats.
Yeah.
He had 2,000 more at bats than anybody that also played the game.
Wow.
So he broke the record for most hits because he kept coming up to bat. He
Yeah.
was good enough to keep coming up to bat. So I just look, how many at bats can we get every week?
Yeah.
We do 10 to 15 things every night we've never done in front of a live crowd. So this weekend we have 2 tours going on. We got 5 games. We'll do 75 plus brand new things.
New things.
30, 40, 50 of them might not work, but 10, 20 could be gold.
Yeah.
That will get better for the next time.
Yep. Yeah. It's like a stand-up comedian, right? You tell 20 jokes. You're like, all right, these 10 sucked. These 10 we're keeping and just keep iterating, right? As you said.
100%.
So you're obviously, I mean, I could say a lot of great things about you, Jesse, in terms of your drive, your resilience, but I want to touch on the creativity, right? Like you obviously are a very creative, imaginative human being, or spiritual being. I know you mentioned that you studied P.T. Barnum, right? Creator of The Greatest Show on Earth, Walt Disney.
Yeah.
And then now you are an author that you're synthesizing everything you learned from them and then everything you've put into your own life and your own business and what's worked and what hasn't. Where does that creative spark come from? And like, how much of it do you credit to just being inspired by and modeling Disney and Barnum Bailey?
Oh, it's 100%. So many of the people that I've learned from, including you, and I'm not trying to just flatter you. Like, I think the greatest deal of my creativity has happened in the mornings. And because I changed my ritual, I changed my tradition. I start my mornings on purpose now. Go back when I was in my 20s, it was, get up and, whether it's go on social media, check other stuff, do whatever. And once I started committing to writing, Write It Down, Make It Happen was a book that I read a long time ago, and, writing down goals. And I started just writing. And then I also started writing down ideas. If you want to be creative, you have to work your idea muscle.
Yeah.
Everybody has creativity. When people say I'm not creative, no, you just don't work your idea muscle enough.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't unbelievably creative when I started. I think creativity comes from constraints as well. When you're a low-level college summer baseball team that no one really cares about, you better find a way to get creative.
Yeah.
All right. Or when you're seeing that fans are leaving games early, you got to find a way to get creative. And so the question is your willingness to try things and test things and fail. So in the mornings, I committed to not only writing goals and writing vision, but I started writing down 10 ideas every single day.
Yes.
And that was probably the biggest game changer in my life, because now it's helped, a lot of our organization. Every week we are coming to the table with ideas. If someone's in our office on a Tuesday, it is crazy. So yesterday, there are idea sessions, OTT sessions, we call them now, over the top ideas,
Nice.
all over. And we're coming there. It's all morning. And every group, you got the party animals doing it. You got the firefighters. You got the tailgaters. You got the bananas. We got our creative team. We got our players. And we come together and build this unbelievable, craziest amount of ideas to put into a script. And so what I just started that, and I started writing down 10 ideas a day. I would have a bucket. What's my bucket? What am I trying to figure out? Today it was like the firefighters calendar crew, because we built a whole group of guys called the calendar crew that are model and do whatever. And it's like, what are the things they can do every game to create fans that are really wild and fun?
Yeah.
And then you start doing them. So to answer your question, I think it just comes down to, for me, what gives me energy is creating, sharing, and growing. And that's my energy list. And I had to figure out that, because when I have go through bad spots, when I'm really struggling, it's because I'm doing things that don't give me energy. And so creating, right now we're creating, which I love. We're going back, sharing and growing. This hits all three. So when I'm talking to someone that I've learned from, that I've grown from, that I can go have a good conversation, that hits all. But creating every morning, writing down new ideas, create before you consume. Most people go and consume. I start creating, and I start writing down and sharing. Can I work with our team and tell them ideas and share and talk about this, get on stage, do all those things, growing. I'm rereading, probably this is the 10th time, the huge 700-page Neil Gabler biography of Walt Disney. And again, I'm still finding new things every single, I'm writing down notes, I'm growing and I'm learning. And I listened to, Jimmy Fallon on a podcast this morning about his struggles growing up. So like that's growing. And so it's constantly, if you put that into your system, your input affects your output.
Yeah.
And so constantly creating before I consuming, bringing good things into me, my vitamins of reading and learning and listening to podcasts. And then hopefully that helps me put out good in the world as well.
I love that. You said something in there, which is that most people start the day consuming, not creating, right?
Yes.
And it's so true. As soon as we start consuming, we go from being proactive to reactive.
Yes.
And our brain literally, it's like, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I just know from experience, like it shifts into like reactive mode and I lose my creative abilities. And it's
Yes.
really, I have to like get them back. I got to like shut the phone off, like
Yeah.
meditate, journal, read. And what's ideal is that you don't have to get them back. You actually start with that. You also
Yes.
mentioned your input determines your output. And I know that for me, when I stop reading or like I go on like a reading drought, I'm like, my brain just goes, like I just don't think
Less
of anything.
creativity. Yeah.
Yeah. And then as
100%.
soon as I start reading, I'm like, oh, I now connect. Ooh, that applies to me in my life based on what he did. I could
There
do
you go.
that here. And I mean, I just
There
see
you go.
that. So it's like, yeah, you working your idea muscle. It's like I love what I'm realizing is your answers to the question of like, where's that spark of creativity come from? Is that you generate it. It'd be like if you saw someone that had big muscles and you're like, hey, dude, where did those big muscles come from? And they're like, every day I actively do things that produce muscle, right? Like you actively are like your life is centered around your miracle morning that's centered around creating.
100%. Well, what do you want to be prolific at? I learned this from Taylor Swift. It's crazy. I study Taylor Swift like crazy because you study the best in the game at
Oh,
whatever.
totally.
So like Mr. Beast, I study him. I mean, I know him and Taylor Swift a lot younger than me,
Yeah.
but they're the best in YouTube in the world and probably the best and when it comes to music and creating fans than anyone in the world right now. So, Taylor Swift, she realized that her superpower was songwriting.
Mm.
It wasn't necessarily the singing, it wasn't the tours, it was songwriting. So she wanted to become prolific at that. So every day, writing, writing, writing. That was her craft. So how do you master your craft? What's the craft that you're going to work on? And for me, what I realized it is this ideas of creating this game, this entertainment, this show. And if every day I can create, again, we're trying to create the greatest show in sports with every moment to entertain you. So if I spend my time every day working on ideas, like today, literally probably 4 hours I spent, which I never get this much white space, which was amazing to me, eye-opening, working on the firefighter show. They have their first headliner. They sold out. So they're our third team. They sold out their whole tour and they have their headliner tour. And so it starts next week. And we've already got a bunch of stuff. It's like, I got to bear down. What is every moment? What is every touch point? What is the fire line doing? What is the mascot doing? What is the calendar crew doing? What is our Dalmatian bat dog doing, which I haven't announced yet, but I just did. So we're going to have literally a Dalmatian.
You heard it here first, folks.
So like the first ever trained Dalmatian bat dog. Like how can you make him different than a regular bat dog? Like literally crafting that and creating that and going that. If that is what I believe I can be prolific at, that is my craft, then you have to, put and commit the time to it every day. This isn't a thing like, again, you're going to do it like a bodybuilder. Oh, I'm going to get a huge workout in tonight. I'm going to be great. That won't make an impact in the long run. It's the everyday that a lot of people know. It's hard to practice. And that's what I try to practice every day. And that's where you came in with the mornings, because now with 3 kids under 7, I have to get going at 4:30 or 5 o'clock if I want to win the morning, to win the day. Sure. And it is essential. And it's harder now. It's so much harder than it was without kids. It's not even close, because with the 3-year-old getting up and whenever she wants to get up and running into my office, it's a challenge. But you have to find out what's like, all right, I'm going to do an hour of this really good, do an hour. If it's 30 minutes, do it 30 minutes really well. And I've been have to work on that. But I think about you and that craft that you helped teach me many years ago. It's made such an impact on my life.
It's amazing. I have just a personal curiosity that I want to ask you about. So if anybody hasn't seen Banana Ball, just go to YouTube, type in Banana Ball. Dancing is a huge part of your entertainment and the games. And so what I just was personally wondering, I was like, how does this work? How does he find baseball players that are really good at baseball and that are really not just good at dancing, but like they're entertainers, like they're funny and they're quirky and they're weird and they're dancing. And so like, I'm curious, what's the system behind it? Is it like, okay, you come in as baseball players and then like you take dance lessons, and how does it all work?
This is the same conversation we were just having. That's what I love. This is working on a craft. So for instance, you have to be a great baseball player to play Banana Ball. People don't realize our guys throw in low to mid 90s. We have first round picks, second round picks, third round picks. Like we have some of the top talent that they just never made it to the majors, but they're here. But you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourselves. And so literally we have these guys who are great baseball players, but every day we're doing rehearsals. See, people don't realize, like, we do rehearsals. We do new dances, new entrances, new scoring celebrations every single day. So every day you're around people and you're doing it. You're practicing it. So the same, like our guys do trick plays. We got our center fielder and left fielder do backflip catches. They do aerial catches. They're catching the balls between their legs. They never did that before. And it's unbelievably hard. But every day, their practices are dramatically different than what a regular baseball players are. They come in, They work on dance. We have a dance. Our breakdancing coach is one of the best dance instructors. He actually last night he got 4 stars for America's Got Talent. So he actually moved on. It was great to see.
No
So he got signed and
way.
they all voted him forward. It was awesome to watch it. So
Oh,
great.
that's exciting.
So he teaches our players to dance every day. He's working with them and teaching them. He teaches our Bananas, our dad bod cheerleading squad, who can't dance.
Dad
And I said,
bod
"That's right."
cheerleading squad.
But now they can dance. In their videos,
Uh,
they danced at Clemson in front of 81,000 to a Man I Feel Like a Woman, and it got over 40 million views because it showed just dad bods having fun dancing, and they learned it. They did it in front of people. So my point, it goes into these guys. It's what are you doing every day to work on a craft that's different than everyone else? If sometimes when you're working on the same craft, it's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
to break through. It is very hard to break through. We're working on a differentiated craft every night, having players dance, having players do walk-ups. No one else in the world is working on that. And so
no.
that makes it easier to stand out. And same thing with all the ideas I think in the show. Most people are not thinking that way or even looking at that way. And
Mm.
so it's an easier way to stand out when you work on a craft that's differentiated.
So I want to ask you a weird question that just came up for me about AI. All
Mhm.
right. And it actually is because yesterday I was thinking about what my next solo podcast is going to be out, and I was surveying my Miracle Morning community, and a lot of people are worried about AI. They're worried that
Yeah.
AI is going to take their job,
Yeah.
right? Which I think is a valid
Yeah.
concern. And Goldman Sachs says 300 million jobs are going to be replaced by AI, right? So it's
Yeah.
everybody's afraid. Your job cannot be replaced by AI, right? I mean, I don't know, the yellow tux robot, I'm sure, in the next 20 years might be a thing. But here's what I want to offer people. All right, what I want to invite you to share your perspective. Like, if someone is like, my job could get replaced by AI, and maybe even how if you do use AI and you're thinking like, I'm just thinking again, wow, I'm looking at Jesse Cole. The way you think is so outside the box. It's so creative and it's experiential.
Yeah.
That, like I said, you're not at risk of being replaced by AI. And I'm wondering what mindset or which mindsets that you bring to your work can people apply to their work? And before you answer, I want to say one more qualifying thing,
Yes.
which is one thing that came up for me yesterday. I was thinking about the podcast, and what I'd want to say is to adopt an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
Right. Like if somebody works they're like, I'm a data analysis and AI can now replace me. What do I do? It's like, you actually have to get outside the box and you have to start thinking about like, how could I add value in the world outside of what I've ever done before? And you have to almost reinvent yourself. So that's one way that I was thinking about it. And again, you are highly qualified, to talk about becoming irreplaceable.
Well, it's a balance. It's interesting when I look at Walt Disney, my biggest mentor. He embraced technology better than anyone else. Going from Technicolor, going from how he developed the animations. Obviously he was animatronics with Disneyland. I mean, he did things. He was so far ahead of his time, and I haven't. To give an example, for the first 9 years in Savannah, we didn't even have a video board, and I didn't want one. I said, I want to figure out how to entertain without a video board. I want to figure out without people having to watch a screen.
Wow.
So this can kind of go into the way how I'm going to answer this question. Yes, AI, if you're not using AI, you're behind. And I use it every day to help with idea generation. So I'll say, hey, I'm thinking this. Can you grab this?
Yeah.
I use it with different ideas and it drives. There's so many stories that I could share, but I'll share one that I don't know if I've publicly even shared this much. So we did a Banana Land at Sea cruise. And of course, why not do a cruise ship for our fans? This is a crazy idea, but again, constraints foster creativity. I said, our biggest fans, can we take them on a cruise ship? We don't play any banana ball, but we got to figure out how to entertain them for 4 to 5 days. Is that going to make us better or not? And if we can figure out how to do that, what could then that lead us to the opportunity to do? So we sold out a cruise ship this past year. We're doing another one next year. And we had to we did a Broadway theatrical show. We created that from scratch for our players. We had players involved in so many things. We had them all over the ship. We just made it an immersive experience. The first night, a woman comes up to me, and I don't recognize this woman at all. And you can see she's kind of got tears in her eyes. And she comes over and she goes, can I give you a hug? And I said, yeah, of course. And, I gave her a hug. And she goes, the reason I'm here on this cruise is because of you. And I go, oh, well, thank you so much. That's very, very kind. She's like, no, you don't understand. She goes, this past year, we had a game in Sacramento. And my sister was the biggest Bananas fan ever. She watched every game. She was obsessed. She watched every game. She was all into it. And so she got us tickets. I never watched the games much. I didn't know much about it, but I was going to go with her. And the day before the game, she tragically died. And
Wow.
I was lost, but I knew I had to go to the game. And I came to the game, and you saw me in the concourse, and you just came up to me out of nowhere and said, "Can I give you a hug?" And now it
Oh.
was starting to come back to me because I remember she was kind of just looking around, kind of just
Mm.
lost. And you gave me that hug, and you have no idea how much that meant to me, because after that hug, I realized that I can have fun. I can enjoy this. And I had so much fun at that game that helped me get out and recover from my sister, who was my closest person in my life. And she went on the cruise solely just to repay that hug to
Give that
me.
hug back.
And I think about that moment, and I share that because our players, our cast, our staff have those moments every single night with thousands of fans. And when you talk about AI, and when you talk about what, that's going to do, those moments, good luck AI,
Yeah.
because there's a feeling and there's an emotion that comes to that delivers that. And so when you think about how you can, if you're worried about your job, if you're worried about what's next, if you focus on how you make people feel,
Yeah.
nothing matters more than making people feel like they matter.
Mm.
AI will struggle with that because there's a different emotional connection that you can have with someone. And so for every day, we try to bring people together and bring joy and bring fun and make them feel like they matter. And so as an entrepreneur mindset, whatever you're doing, if you can find a way to connect with people, to create an experience, not just a product, which AI can create, an experience, a feeling.
Yeah.
I think you'll be okay for the years to come.
All right. Oh man, where can people get tickets to a banana ball game? I know it's hard. It's like I've looked. It's like sold out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The wait list is at 3.5 million right now. So it's something I would never imagine. But we're going to work on, the biggest thing we have to overcome is the secondary market. Right now, people go in the secondary market and tickets are $500, $700. They're ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to develop our own secondary market with no ticket fees, no convenient fees, and face value tickets. And so if people have an extra ticket that they can't go, that'll be an opportunity. But right now, it's join the wait list. We're going to give them all the opportunity in the future to come to tickets and go for. That's the key right now. But again, we're very, very grateful to be in the spot we're at.
Bananaball.com is where people can go to join the wait list and check it out.
Yes, bananaball.com, Savannah Bananas, any of our teams. We're pretty easy to find these days.
And then you've written 3 books, Fans First, Banana Ball, and Find Your Yellow Tux.
Yes.
Which of those is your favorite? If somebody wanted to get a little bit of Jesse Cole's mindset.
Fans first through and through. That's the core of who we are. That's the name of our company. That drives everything. At the end of each night, we have all the fans and our players. We put our arms up in the air, 40,000. We all go fans first, because that's what we stand for. It's so crazy to say our fans are cheering it, but they're all about what we're trying to do, and we're in this together. That's the story. That's how it's all formed. Fans first is everything.
Who is that book for?
Well, it's built in the sense of business. It's built in the sense to look at it from a business sense on how do you create fans and don't just chase customers. But it really does share the journey in a fun way. There's a halftime show in the middle of the book. Literally, it's which we do halftime shows at some of our games, which we break all the rules on what a conventional baseball game is. But it's written to be entertaining, just like a banana show.
Have you ever thought about, Jesse, this came up for me just now, applying, so basketball is my favorite sport personally, right? Have you thought about applying this to the other sports?
We have got a lot of those emails and messages and questions from football to golf to tennis. We've heard it. I think we've a few from basketball, but going back to working on the craft, I think it's the singular focus. We got a long way to go. Our goal is not to become $1 billion company; it's to create 1 billion fans, and we got a long way to go. So that's what we're focusing on right now.
Yeah. So maybe it's not a no. It's not a no. It's a, once we've mastered banana ball and we got 1 billion fans, then maybe we'll think about banana baseball or banana basketball.
We'll never master it. Every single day we're learning, my friend. I'll tell you, we'll never master it. So I'm going to do it till the day I die.
Last question, man, is just where, if people want more Jesse Cole in their life, I know that I do, and I'm blessed that I get to text you when I need some Jesse Cole in my life. I know you're not giving out your cell phone today, but what's the best way for people to follow you? Social media, email, website? What's the best thing?
My cell phone is in the book Fans First, by the way. So I do get text messages and calls every day because I did put it out there. But my mindset. I'll stay till the last fan at the end of each night. I'll stay and sign till the last fan every night. I try to be as available because I think back to the Walt Disneys. If I was able to learn from him and he able to share the journey. So for me, I share the journey. So on LinkedIn, I started 9 years ago. Every day, every other day, I'm posting. Instagram, I'm just sharing things I'm learning, things I'm seeing, because it's something that hopefully it's a way to give back as you're learning, which I was so grateful to have from so many coming up as well.
Amazing. Well, you are an inspiration to me, dude. I'm so inspired by you, not just as a entrepreneur who really serves people, but as a husband, as a father, with your foster kids, with your biological son. You're a special human being, man. And I hope you receive that. I hope you feel that. And yeah, I'm grateful to
I
know you.
appreciate you. You know the impact you've made on me, my friend. So it's been game changing. So this was a
Awesome.
lot of fun.
All right. Well, hey, goal achievers, thank you for tuning in to this episode. You just met one of my favorite people, Jesse Cole, founder of Banana Ball, husband, father. Go follow him, grab his book, Fans First, off of Amazon or wherever you buy your books. And I love you so much. I will talk to you next week.